Oh, 3 p.m. Oh, well, it says reconvene.
Oh, sorry.
So, reconvening at 7 o'clock. Roll call, please.
Trustee Walker?
Here.
Trustee Gallegos?
Here.
Trustee Tahada? Here. Vice President Salahuddin? Here. President Lee?
Here. Okay. Now, are there any changes to the agenda?
There are none.
I can have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Great. And now for the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Item 8A, Employees of the Year recognition. Fun stuff.
We're gonna have to share. Okay, good evening, everyone. Dana Lujan, Director of Human Resources.
Doreen Bassuino, Associate Superintendent of HR and Student Services.
We are thrilled to have this opportunity to recognize our certificated, classified, and administrator of the year. This evening, we'd like to start with a video, and then Doreen and I are going to take turns reading the names of each of the employees of the year. When your name is called, please come up. You'll be presented with a certificate, our request, and then we'll take a picture. And then our request is that you stand to the side because we're going to do a big picture at the end with all of the trustees. And following that, we'll take a break. We'll pause the meeting so that way we can all celebrate each of you and have some cake, coffee, and some treats next door. Okay? All right. So, Jake, if you're ready with the video, we'd love to announce our winners this year. That was a fun secret to keep. Okay, and we will begin with the presentation of certificates, beginning with Joshua Featherston.
All right. Oh, you're going to talk individually? Oh, look at that.
Fancy.
Thank you.
All right. Stephen Hawks.
Next up, Daniel Arzaga.
Gary Lorenzen. That's nice.
Thank you very much.
Sweet.
Sarah Meskin.
Gina Tassetti.
Keys for Gaines.
Jose Antonio Mija Grande. Yeah, sorry. Great. I'll get in there.
Nicole Holm.
Jennifer Javier Ali.
Danielle Messer.
Oh, last but not least, Jake Meyer. I love it. It's like his kindergarten photo. And the board members, right?
Photo with the,
Oh. Oh, okay.
yes. That makes sense. Say it. Yeah, just say it.
So while they're getting ready for that photo, we are gonna wait to break to do the Chamber
Of Commerce.
announcement first,
And then we'll go next.
and then we'll go next door.
Eyes on me, 1, 2, and 3.
That's great.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you. Good job.
AJ.
Just for the record, I was told you had to shave your head. Is he eligible? I feel like.
We tricked you. We did.
Oh, we can do.
We do that water out.
I'll go back.
Before we move on to the next item on item 8B, we'll just, if the board members would like to make comments for the employees of the year. We'll start with Trustee Walker.
Congratulations for achieving this at least a little bit of excellence in your field, in our one little district here. So I'm really happy for you. But I was a teacher for 3 years, and I know that working in school as a teacher, as an administrator, as staff, it's all about being able to get up every morning with that energy, enthusiasm, and I can congratulate everyone for being able to do it, and for you for achieving this excellence. I'm really happy for you, and thank you.
And I think for me, just seeing all you guys, it just goes to show you that old adage of it takes a village, to raise our children and do all the things that we do for them. It's a perfect example of what it takes to have all you guys up here. And obviously you guys are very dedicated to what you're doing. You're being rewarded for it. And, over like the past 4 or 5 years, I think a lot of us realize just how difficult your guys' jobs are. Trying to educate our children and keep them in line, deal with all the different personalities and stages in life that they go through. I'm very appreciative of that as a parent, so I appreciate everything you guys do. Congratulations for all your hard work and keep up the good stuff. I appreciate it.
I'm just going to say, for the way I look at it, you all are doing God's work. It is not easy what you do for our children, especially over these last few years. My daughter graduated from Jeff last year. You guys, this entire district really helped our students pull through a really difficult time. But we can't forget that you guys went through a difficult time too. It was not easy for any of you. And I just can't tell you how grateful I am to have people like you in our district who serve our students and our families, because it really was extremely hard. And I think I saw Mr. Featherston, jogging to home, which is right over there. And it made me so happy to know that we've done something good for you too. But I thank you again for all that you do for our families and our students. Thank you.
Yes, to echo the sentiments of my colleagues, first, congratulations for making it almost to the end of the school year. As board members, we're here to serve for our community, for the students, and for the staff. And we all take our jobs extremely seriously. And I know this is just a small thank you, and I wish that we could thank you in the way that you deserve, which is to be paid a living wage. And that is our constant, that's the constant work of this board, to ensure that when people say they respect you, it's truly a show that you really respect. And so the way I honor, and I say this every Teacher Appreciation Week, and I say it today, the way I honor you is to continue to fight to make sure that you guys get what you deserve. And I know, all of us know firsthand how much work that you do for our children, because we've experienced it personally with our own children. And I talked before in that retirement about the wonderful people my children are, and that's not me mom bragging, but a huge part of that is for the love and care that they got within the JUHSD. This is a family, and my children felt that love, and they give it out in the community every single day. And so many children that come through our walls go out and are making differences in the community. I run into JUHSD graduates all the time. And I'm so proud of where we're going, and I'm so proud of where we're going to go. And we couldn't do any of the things that we've accomplished without the people in this room. So, it's a small token, but you need to pause and say thank you, and it's due. So thank you all so much for all the work that you've done.
Thank you. At the risk of sounding redundant, thank you. You are all fabulous. I am so proud to tell people about our school district wherever I go. And people congratulate me like I've done some great thing because our district is so great. And while that feels really nice, it's really just I'm one cog in this wheel, and it takes all of us, the board members, the staff, the support staff in our schools, teachers, administrators. We really are a very special school district, and the reason why we're a really special school district is because of all of you. And you're receiving this honor today. You were voted on by your peers, so you're receiving this honor because those around you see what you do every day. So I want to just say I see you, and I thank you so very much for serving all of our students.
Echo what all my colleagues have said. Thank you so much. I know, as a now former parent in the district, what you've done for my children. And I'm grateful to every single one of you, because what you've done for my kids, you continue to do every day for the 4,000 plus students of our district. So thank you so much for your love and care and dedication to our children. Thank you. We'll move on quickly over to now the item 8B, the Daly City Colma Chamber of Commerce. We would like to recognize them, Ms. Presta.
Yeah. So thank you. We're excited to recognize the Daly City Colma Chamber of Commerce tonight. And we wanted to take a special, I'm going to hand these over to you guys for the middle. We wanted to do this tonight because Daly City Colma Chamber supports our school district in many ways, providing scholarships for our students and helping us with fundraising. And, you know, I was recently we were at a Skyline College event, and Felicia was like, Tony, let me have you talk to the people at Chick-fil-A, because, you know, she's sort of working the room, talking with people about, here, let me connect you this way. And that's really the magic of community. And so we're very grateful for the Daly City Colma Chamber for your support of our school district and for our students. And without further ado, I'm going to call you up. And when I call your name, I ask that you come up kind of similarly. Come on up. Let Kalima and Andy hand you a certificate, but stand up here because then we want to get your pictures. Okay? So I'm going to first call up Felicia Leong. Sorry, she's filming. All right. Next, Monica DiVincenzi. Is Monica here? No? Okay. Then we've got Rebecca Houston. Very good. And Eleanor Serrato. Those are the names that we were given. So thank you to the Daly City Colma Chamber, the others who are here tonight. These are the certificates that we had. Okay.
I just wanted to let everyone know that we have to change our fever. We also wanted to recognize Dustin Case, who is from our chamber.
Okay.
Ross Sitt, and Marie Villarosa that's back there.
Thank you guys. Yeah, thank you for being here. All right. Would you like to take their photos? Okay.
That is a good.
Oh my God. Let's make That's great. I like that.
Thank you very much.
I know. Well, I was going to say, I need to make some more.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get more certificates. Yeah, thank you so much. What?
Sorry.
And we'll also quickly do any comments from members of the board for the chamber. Yeah, go for it.
So I just want to say, this reiteration of the board, because it lost its leader, and I was a leader that was doing a lot, and her passing was a huge loss. But, just like a phoenix rising, you guys have come back bigger and better. And I really love the focus on diversity. It's a hugely diverse body that's really representative of our community. It's a strong group. I love every event that I've gone to so far, and that you've continued on its mission of really being a support for our school district. And the scholarship program is huge. And it means so much to the students that receive those funds, because college is insanely expensive. So every little bit helps. So I think outside of the money, the thing in talking to the students that receive it, they're just surprised at how big it is, like how many businesses are involved, and how much you care about them, even though you've never met them. So that's just a huge way to send them off to college with that level of confidence, because college is also a tough place. So thank you so much for your work that you've done. And I'm excited about what we'll do together in the future.
Back in 1981, I was a recipient of a scholarship from the Daly City Colma Chamber of Commerce. And that's how I learned about you. You're such a powerful yet understated organization. And there are times I wish I saw you more, and I love to work with you. I'm at a loss because you do so much for us. And I was just so glad to see that we're recognizing you as the great partner that you are. Thank you.
Yeah, like Rosie was just saying, I'd love to get to know you guys better and work with you some and kind of, figure out, what we could do more to, help you guys help us and help the kids. I know very little about how this all ties in right now. I'm still kind of learning all this stuff. So, but I do appreciate that anything that anybody does for our kids in our community and our schools and just helping each other out. I appreciate that. So thank you.
Thanks so much for your support. It's but that's not why I paused. Anyway, thank you for your support. It's it's so important to the students. And yesterday we had a bunch of students in here, and a few times I've said something about how the energy is so different when we have students here. And tonight the energy is a little bit different. We have a bunch of adults in here, which is great. Thanks for being a part of it. And I look forward to working with you as my tenure on the board develops. Thanks.
Anything else to add?
Nothing further. Thank you.
And I just want to say thank you so much for your continued support of our students. It's amazing how the thousands of dollars that you contribute for scholarships in particular. It's amazing what you do for our community. And again, just thank you so much. So with that, we will take a brief pause here at 7:26 for a little celebration next door. So we'll go on out to the board report. We can start with Mr. Walker down at the end.
All right. I have, I went to the Jet campus this week, part of the subcommittee. That's wonderful.
Part of subcommittee for what?
No, we have a subcommittee, trustee Otto and I are on it, and we are, I know what I'm doing, just having a tough time describing it. We're looking into the best way to address construction on the Jefferson athletic facility. I have words. Thank you.
That actually sounds fun. What did I do? Oh, I went to Jeff's signing day last week. That was pretty cool. I actually had no idea what to expect, but it was really cool. All the kids got together during advisory time, about a half hour right before lunch, and they had set up some balloons and a backdrop for them to take pictures with a little 2023 bubble balloon thing, and they had all these pennants from different colleges that the kids were going to be going to, so they all got to kind of share where they were going to school, brag about it a little bit, have fun with it. So that was neat. And then I went to Westmore's spring concert on Friday. That was really cool, actually. They did a really good job. That theater is really nice. That's the first time I've been in there, so I was pretty impressed with the theater. And I was really impressed with with all the performances they did, a couple choir performances, big choir. They had like a couple garage band performances that were pretty neat, and they had some really good solo performances. So very talented kids, really cool to be a part of. And I felt special because they gave me cool seats for being on the board. That was kind of neat. So it was fun. I had a good time last week, getting involved with some of that stuff. So awesome.
So we had our last student advisory council meeting last night. Bittersweet, but it was it's such a great group of students, and we had our special board meeting recognizing them last night, and watched the video. Very touching and fun, and I didn't even realize that some of the students who went to school together met on the council, and some of them became very close. So that was such a great time. This is our last school board. This is our last school board meeting before the end of the school year, and it went by really fast. I just want to thank all of our administrators, our certificated, our classified, for all your hard work during the school year. And the parents, students, with this graduation season coming, our director of maintenance, thank you for all, and your crew for all your hard work, getting the fields ready for graduation, setting up. It is a lot of work you don't realize that goes into it. And I really appreciate you. I don't say it enough to everyone in our district, but you keep us running. I reflect on the storms that we had, and the pivoting we had to do when power was out and when trees are knocked down. So I just want to thank everyone for all their hard work this year. And I hope you do take time off to recharge and into this summer and to enjoy your families.
Echo what my board colleague, Trustee Tejada, said. I was on vacation last week, so I didn't do a lot. But I do want to echo that if you haven't watched the video that's on YouTube from the meeting last night with the student trustees, please do so. It was a really good reminder. My kids have to remind me all the time to celebrate the accomplishments, because I'm always focused on what's next, what we have to do next, what we have to do next. And I don't really appreciate what we've done and what we're doing. So to hear the students vocalize it on their own and talk about all the things that they appreciate about the district was just lovely. Because that's why we're here. So, it's a great pick me up. I went home after I had just heard it, and I went home, and you guys are so great in the background. The YouTube video is up right when we get there, and I was able to watch it again with the nice cup of coffee. It was fantastic. So if you have time, check it out.
Yeah, I don't usually rewatch board meetings, but that's definitely that's on my list to watch again because with the kids,
You watch yourself.
I don't watch myself. I don't watch myself. But this is gonna be one of those nights. See, man, I'm looking forward to the graduations next week. I think that's just one of the great honors that we all have to be able to be a part of the graduation ceremonies for our students. And I'm looking forward to hearing the reports from our newer board members and with their experiences next week, because I remember the nervous feeling that I had working my first couple of graduations, but it is it's quite the honor. And it reminds me of 4 years ago when my son Henry graduated from Terra Nova, and he and I did the Parent Trap handshake at his graduation, which was actually quite fun. Which also is the fact that I didn't do much with the district last week since it was his graduation from San Diego State. So I'm grateful that I actually did. Paige and I actually got both our kids through. Thank you.
Yeah.
Impressed that.
Okay, thank you. So, I was actually quite sick last week, so I was out for a few days, but was really happy that I was well enough to come back on Friday morning because I got to kind of open for the Special Olympics at Terra Nova. I just want to say publicly and in recording for all to see that Eddie Arias, who's our adaptive PE teacher, pulled off an amazing feat. He won't take all the credit for it, but I will say I think he was the driving force and did a lion's share of the work. He and the wellness and the leadership at Terra Nova put together a really wonderful day. So it was great to be at Special Olympics last Friday. And I just keep having people come up to me this week saying, oh my gosh, my students had so much fun. They met their students from all of the different high schools were there. Eddie has a vision of opening it up to middle schoolers next year. And I was just thrilled. It was a really great, I didn't like being away for 4 days but I was really sick. I also want to say that I compliment them a lot, but it's really genuine when I say that, I used to be superintendent in a smaller district where I didn't have other leaders with me. And so it was hard, you couldn't be out because nothing would move forward. And last week I had all the confidence of the world that everything that needed to get done was going to get done. And if anybody had a crisis that I couldn't communicate with them right away, one of my executive cabinet would take care of it. And so I'm just really grateful for that. The other thing that I got to do when I got back last Friday was Jeff signing day. So that was the first time that they had done it. It was something that one of the vice principals, Allie Navalta, brought with her from her former high school. And it was a great day for the kids to just really be proud of what they're doing next year. And so that was really, really fun. Student advisory is a highlight of what I do, frankly. Last night was great. I basically never rewatch a meeting. I kind of never rewatch our meetings, but I think I might actually take a look because you guys sounds like it was really, really nice to relive. But I'm really proud of the student advisors. We said this last night, but I'm so proud of this group of young people. And I'm really excited for next year's group as well. And then finally, we earlier this evening celebrated our retirees. So there are several staff members that are retiring this year. I'm happy to say it's kind of less this year. There were a lot of turnover the last few years. And so it's a smaller group of retirees this year, but some people who really dedicated, up like 30 plus years to our school district and to education in other districts. And so I just want to publicly thank them for their service to young people in our community. And I'm looking forward to this Saturday. The board members and I are going to be having a board retreat where we focus on equity during the day. So, the fact that we have a school board who will share 8 hours of their Saturday working on equity in our school district makes me, very happy to work here. So that's it.
Great. And I assume we don't have an AFT 1481 report this evening? Or do we?
Actually, she sent it in, and Chelsea has what she wanted to share.
Okay.
You want me to read it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. On behalf of Monica Casey, I can't think of anything to report out on at the board meeting tonight except to say AFT 1481 would like to thank the retirees for their service. We hope they enjoy retirement and they will always be our union siblings. Also, congrats to the honorees. Thanks. All my love, Monica. Okay.
Perfect. And no COVID-19.
There is no regret now.
Great. All right. So moving on to consent. Is there a motion to approve consent?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Fantastic. So now item 12, public comment. Do we have any blue cards this evening, Ms. Tejada?
We do not.
Great. We'll go on to item 13A1, special education program updates. Ms. Walker, would you like to introduce the team?
Yes, I do. Good evening, President Lee, members of the board. Tonight, I'm happy to introduce our co-directors, our wonderful co-directors of special education, who will provide an update on what's going on with the program. There's Lee Medvedoff and Grace Ventura.
Okay. All right. Thank you for inviting us to speak tonight. I am Lee Medvedoff, and this is Grace Ventura, and we are your directors of special education. Here is an overview of our presentation. It's going to be pretty high level, and we'll kind of provide sort of a brief overview of each slide, and we're happy to answer any questions as we go or at the end. We're going to be doing a little bit of an overview of terminology and our district programs, as well as enrollment and staffing updates. Then we're going to go into what we've been working on recently in this year, things that are in progress, as well as things that we're working on going forward, and provide an update on our accountability and our work with the CDE. All right. So special education terminology, even the title of the slide has an acronym. So we use a lot of acronyms in this field. And we've got folks who might be listening who aren't familiar with all of these acronyms. And we always like to advise our staff in IEP meetings to make sure to define them for families. So these are relevant to the presentation today. We have IEP, which is an individualized education plan. Sometimes we hear program. So that is the document that outlines the services and goals and how the students are going to be supported. It's also the term we use for the meeting, the IEP meeting. FAPE, which is free appropriate public education. That's what we are charged with providing to our students who have IEPs. That's the offer of services that we provide. LRE, we're going to go a little deeper on LRE later, but that stands for least restrictive environment. That has to do with the student's placement. Inclusion, which we've defined here as access to general education settings. So oftentimes we consider how to support students in the gen ed setting, and the onus isn't on students to be determined ready for gen ed. The onus is on us to determine whether students actually need to be in a self-contained class. And so that's the next term we have here, which is a separate setting outside of general education. An example might be a study skills or tutorial class. And then extensive support needs, formerly moderate severe. So you might have heard moderate severe teacher. We now use the term extensive support needs, and the focus is on the needs rather than simply moderate severe or mild moderate. All right. And then we also thought this was a great opportunity to talk about person first language, which is something we do advocate for. So person first language simply means focusing on the person first and not the disability. And for example, you might say, and here, I hope you enjoy the chalkboard graphic. I spent some time on that. People with disabilities rather than disabled person, or she receives special education services rather than she's in special ed. It's also worth noting here that special ed is a service and not a location or place. I think we often grew up thinking it refers to the classroom, but it actually refers to the service. All right, great.
All right. So for our district programs, we have these programs available based on our students' unique learning needs. So we got our mild, moderate, and sometimes it is interchangeably called our resource program. And this is our diploma program supporting our students who are in the diploma pathway or getting courses to complete their graduation requirements. We also have our extensive support needs, and these are our students who are in the certificate of completion pathway. With functional academic and daily living skills are their focus. And these are also the students who will go and continue to our adult transition program where they would be, where we will be providing services until the students turns 22 years old. And we are lucky in our district. We also have our therapeutic programs, and we have 2 of those, and I can discuss a little more in depth on the next slide. And this therapeutic program is also for our students in the diploma bound. Where are our district programs located? So with 3 of our comprehensive high schools, that is Jefferson, Terra Nova, and High School, and our alternative high school, which is our Oceana High School, and Continuation High School, which is at Thornton, we all have our mild, moderate, or resource programs. For our extensive support needs, those are housed at Oceana High School, Terra Nova High School, and in our adult education, which is here. And those are our students from 18 to 22 years old. And for our 2 therapeutic mental health programs, MHE, or the Mental Health Enhanced, is housed at Westmore High School, and our therapeutic day school is housed at Terra Nova. This is just a quick snapshot of what our current enrollment for this year. It's, we get close to what we have right now, although there's some movement if there's any transfers or family leaving. But as of now, as we see on the graph, Jefferson High School has our highest number in terms of our mild moderate. Next to that, very closely, would be Terra Nova High School and Westmore. And Oceana would come next, and then, of course, our Thornton, which is our continuation school. For the extensive support needs, we see that a lot of our students attend our adult education. And part of that big number for this year, because we have brought back most of our students from the county program a year before the school year. And then we have our therapeutic programs, which is our mental health enhances the highest number right now. For our projected enrollment for next year, I would like to note that this is a tentative and it might change depending on the movement of our registration, which is still ongoing. But we got these numbers based on the ongoing transition 8th grade meetings that we are still doing with our feeder elementary school districts, our incoming freshmen. We also took consideration for our students who we are projecting to graduate this May and also for summer. So the arrows would indicate if there's an increase or decrease of the enrollment, and the equal sign would mean that the enrollment would be the same. So Jefferson continues to have the highest number for our mild moderate. For Terra Nova and Westmore, from the previous slide, they were very close with the numbers, and we are anticipating almost the same number again for next year. For our extensive support needs, it would be
Also, almost the same with our adult transition program in adult ed and Aushana High School. But both our mental health programs, we are anticipating of an increase of numbers of them. So Lee and I's vision is that if we are able to provide the students our district programs, we wanted them to provide those services for them because we believe in the least restrictive setting, and also for students to experience the high school experience. So when our students have more needs that we will not be able to provide in the district programs because we don't have those other services that they need, we have our students, we refer our students to our non-public school partners. And this is the numbers that we are anticipating, is that this year we had 17 students. And then next year, actually most of the 60 students that we are hoping to place in our non-public school will be incoming freshmen and transfers. For our county school placement, this school year, we only have 3 students, and these are our students who really have a lot of needs in terms of their health and medical health needs that we were not able to provide through our district programs. And for next year, we are anticipating an incoming freshman would be going and continue in that county placement because of that medical need. For staffing projections, just wanted to give you an overall of the numbers that we have. But I just wanted to point out that we have the new position that would be starting this fall, our program specialist, and that would be 1 position. Of course, those are a lot of numbers and information, but we also wanted to discuss what are we doing to make progress for and improve our district programs. So we are going to continue with our CPAC, again, another acronym, and stands for Special Education Parent Advisory Committee. And our purpose is really, and I would also like to publicly be grateful for the support and guidance of our Deputy Superintendent, Ms. Karin Baca, because it has been really challenging to start, but this is our 2nd year so far. And we can say that we are, we are continuing to recruit parents. So publicly announced there, we are welcoming new members right now, so please contact us. Our information is on the website, but we try to really connect with our families because we believe that that strong partnership between our parents or guardians of students with IEPs really is helpful to make improvement and be better of what we do to provide services for our students. So for this school year, we have 5 meetings so far. Last week was our last meeting for our CPAC. All right, Lee.
All right, back to me. So another thing that's in progress is co-teaching, and we've been working on co-teaching in this district for years. It first started at Oceana High School in the district. We have a definition of co-teaching up there, as well as a graphic of different co-teaching models. And I'm not going to go ahead and read the definition, but I'll let you take a look at that. I'll also just say that our county has been offering support and training for staff, which is really exciting that that's now something available for us. And we'll show you in a second kind of the projection for co-taught classes next year. I also just wanted to call out this best practice around co-teaching. On the previous slide, there were some models that were a little small to read, but they include team teaching, 1 teach, 1 assist, 1 teach, 1 observe. Those are a whole group ways of teaching in a co-taught class. And you can see there's, 2 roles there for traditionally a general ed and a special education teacher. And then there's small flexible groupings, station teaching, parallel teaching, alternative teaching. And what I've been taught is that it's great to focus or make the goal 70% of time being in these flexible groupings to really maximize the benefit of having 2 adults in the room. And here's our really exciting co-teaching projections for next year. You can see it started at Oceana, it's expanded at Oceana, and it's also expanding across the district, with Jefferson offering co-teaching potentially across all 3 math courses, adding potentially English 11 at Westmore, and we have math course 1 and 2 at Terra Nova. All right, so bridge authorizations, and I'm flipping to my other side of my notes, so you know we're at least halfway through our presentation. And it has nothing to do with bridges, but we had so many great slides of, the Bay Area, so I couldn't help it. And the orange of that kind of went with the CTC logo, so it just makes for a pleasing slide, but it's not actually about bridges, although it's about bridging your current credential to a credential that includes the ability to cover more eligibility categories as a special education teacher. And so the county hosted a training, and we had 18 teachers participate, which proportionally for the county was one of the highest participation rates. So we were really proud that our teachers went and participated in that. And here's just an overview. It's fairly self-explanatory, but it just kind of shows the additional categories, eligibility categories that these credentials can serve with the bridge authorization, including traumatic brain injury and orthopedic impairment, among others. We're also very excited that we've negotiated for all of our special education teachers to have a second prep. It's their case management prep. Many teachers in the district already did have a case management prep. We've now expanded that to all of our extensive support needs teachers, our adult transition program as well, and at Oceana as well. And so that provides an opportunity for teacher bridge authorizations to conduct academic assessments and hold IEP meetings. And for the adult transition program, rather than hire a 6th teacher, we're hiring an additional transition specialist to do community-based instruction, so we can have a focus on that with a block prep for teachers. And the transition specialist will go to each class, each of the 5 classes 1 day per week. All right, looking forward.
All right. So what are we looking at in the future? So we have this initiative from CDE, and we have been constantly in guidance with SELPA to help us how to move forward and implement this, but it is the California Alternative Pathway to Diploma. And what exactly is this? Well, we're still also trying to figure it out, but it is the like examining what is existing and potential additional pathway to our high school students with significant cognitive disabilities. So this is about 1% of the population that we have in our school district. And in order for us to determine if the students qualified for this pathway, is that they need to take the California Alternate Assessment in junior. They also have to complete the state standards aligned coursework to meet state-defined coursework requirements for graduation. And I know that's very wordy, but basically what we are hoping to get support from SELPA is that what are the courses that we would be able to provide for the students that would still be state standards and that would still going to qualify or be eligible for graduation requirements courses. And again, for our mental health programs, we just wanted to highlight that both of our mental health programs we've been utilizing them and has been full since the pandemic. So we wanted to make sure that we provide the services first through our district programs for our students before looking for outside district placements.
Okay, so least restrictive environment was one of our terms from the terminology slide, and last year we talked in a little bit more detail about all of the 14 indicators, but this year we're kind of zeroing back in on LRE. And California is increasing its targets. You can see in 2023 and then in 2025 what the increase is. And then in the middle there where JUHSD falls. So indicators 5A, 5B, and 5C measure the percent of a student's day that's spent in the general education setting with their typical peers versus the amount of time spent in the self-contained class that is only available for students with IEPs. So we've come a long way as a district. However, we do have, more room to grow, and that's where I think the co-teaching can be a big help for us. And then in terms of indicator 5C for separate school, as you did see earlier, our enrollment of students in non-public schools is increasing. And so we do want to be mindful of that and continue to work on serving as many students as we can in district so that we can get closer to that state target of 2.4%. So this kind of leads to our essential question, one of the biggest questions in special education, which is how to make inclusion work. And we did talk about co-teaching. And another thing that we want to just highlight today is UDL. We're not going to go into a great amount of detail on this today, but I did include a definition here. Universal design for learning is a framework to improve and optimize teaching and learning for all people based on scientific insights into how humans learn. And it is all about providing multiple means of engagement, representation, and action and expression. It's about maintaining those firm goals and standards, but providing flexible means for students to reach them. So lots of access points to the learning. And it's not special education, but we are really excited that student service or that educational services is focused on it. Lori Robinson is sort of a resident expert within the district, and she can speak to this as well. And we're really excited about our initiatives around UDL.
All right, let me go back to this just to kind of just have that big word accountability, because that's what special ed is for. We are, making sure that we are meeting the requirements of CDE. And again, that's another acronym which for our public, that would mean the California Department of Education. So just a little overview of this. So CDE is required to make an annual determination on the performance of each LEA, local education agency, which is our district. And we get that letter every year. This year, we got it sometime in March, with Superintendent Presta got it. So the CDE reviews the LEA compliance, disproportionality, and performance data related to the implementation of IDA requirements. As a result, every LEA receives one of 4 possible annual determinations. So let me go to the next one. So the determination for our school district is needs assistance in meeting the requirements of the IDA Part B for the 2021-2022 school year. If the LEA did not meet requirements, the LEA will be monitored by the CDE in the 2023 monitoring year, which is in the fall for us. So based on all the analysis and documents that they reviewed with us, our district will be monitored in the targeted level 3 for disproportionality. And I wanted to make sure that this is actually an improvement for our school district, because in the last 2022, we were from intensive monitoring level 1 to targeted monitoring level 3. So that's one level up. So small success, we need to celebrate it, because it's, I know Karen is smiling right now. We have to meet with CDE and a lot of people almost constantly and providing documents and all that. So I wanted to celebrate also that progress that we have. However, just like what Lee said, there's room for improvement. And since we are still in compliance and improvement monitoring, SIM for short, is that we have to meet these requirements. And so We have to complete the disproportionality reviews, which we already submitted, and they are currently reviewing. They might get back to us and get more information, but we are ready for that. We have our progress report due in July, so that's in a few months. We might need to look at data again of like what Lee had mentioned with the LRE and the other elements that we did not meet. We have to monitor and review our policy practices and procedures, as well as we might need to get parent input again, which we did it last school year. And this is just for informational purposes. I know that Lee had talked more about the LRE, the 5A indicators, but again, this is a time for us to also celebrate the elements that we have targeted so far. So for our dropout rates, suspension, parent involvement, any education, employment, and child find, we met those elements. Of course, there's still a lot of things to work there, but let's just ignore that a little bit and just focus on the yes part.
All right. Can we ignore this one too? No. This is another thing that we wanted to just highlight that is going to continue to be required of our staff, which is service tracking. So it's been a best practice for related service providers, SLPs, OTs, to track when they're providing services. It hasn't been an expectation yet for special education teachers. And so moving forward, the state is requiring special education teachers to track specialized academic instruction, which is a pretty monumental task. We did work with our special education department heads to discuss the best way to meet the requirement for this spring, and we ended up piloting a system using Google Sheets instead of the Special Education Information System Service Tracker, or SACE Service Tracker. And now we're going to be working on aggregating that data that our staff has tracked and providing it to CDE. And they may ask some LEAs to then show them the evidence, the service logs, to show how we got that aggregated data. I think I just want to say thank you to all the staff who went forward with tracking services. It was a heavy lift in February to kind of add that to everyone's plate. And so I'm really grateful to all the teachers who got on board with service tracking and who partnered with us in determining the best way to do that as a district. And it is ongoing, and how we're going to track services in the future may change, but we kind of feel good about the success we have this semester. So that's the end of the presentation. Thank you for listening. We're happy to take any questions.
Great, thank you. Open it up to the board for questions and comments. Go for it.
So my question was on the last slide, because this completely confused me, and then the explanation didn't help me a lot. So what are we tracking?
I don't know if I can go back, but we're tracking services. So the services on the student's IEP and the services grid might be language and speech, might be occupational therapy. Specialized academic instruction is technically a service. So it might be what's provided in the tutorial class or in a self-contained math class. And the state has asked for the teachers to track that as a service, just like speech and language might.
The state, meaning the CDE?
Yes, yeah. So they lost a lawsuit which found that they did not have adequate oversight of ensuring that services are provided. And so right now, the lift is to document services being provided.
So what we wanted to, in addition to what Lee said, what we are really looking is that whatever is written on the offer of services page would need to match on what our teachers are providing. So.
Okay, so who checks the sheet that we create?
Well, right now we're doing that at the district level to aggregate the data and find out what percentage of services were served. And obviously, ideally, it would be 100%. We did have, a power outage one day. That would be a day where, we weren't able to provide services as planned. Or if a provider is absent, or there's, let's say one provider has left and we're working on staffing that position. In our district, we're really grateful to have been very nearly fully staffed at all times. In some districts, that might not be the case. So it's to verify the percentage of services provided.
May I ask a follow-up question? So typically I would assume, we track it. Like we track what's happening on a daily basis. And then I would assume it comes to when there's a special ed file review or something that the state comes in and maybe pulls randomly. Is that how, or do we know how they're going to check up on it?
We do know now. They're going to ask us to determine the percentage of services provided for each for each student, who's randomly selected.
Okay.
They randomly select 10% of students.
Yeah.
And then we say, okay, this student was 95 to 100% served. This one, 90 to 95.
So we're not going to have to turn it in for every child.
But we still have to do it because it's a random.
Yeah.
We may have to show more evidence if we're part of the 10% of LEAs randomly selected to do so, which we won't know until after June 30th. So there is the possibility we have to provide more evidence.
So that I'm understanding, for every IEP, and if you go through the IEP, it says a student is going to have like 2 days of speech therapy, and then they're going to be focused, a certain amount of their day is going to be on this, and a certain amount. You have to track all of that every single day.
Every time that the service is meant to be provided.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So like for our specialized academic instruction, usually just an example. So it might be that it's 300 minutes weekly. So we have to show that with that weekly, we have provided 300 minutes. Yeah. So for speech, maybe it might be 90 minutes monthly. So as long as we are able to show them that 90 minutes monthly is provided to this specific student.
Okay. And so, like, I'm familiar. So now I know exactly what this is, and I'm very familiar with it because, like, my son had this when he was in non-public school, but he had a dedicated one-to-one. Yeah.
And that's also a service we would be responsible for tracking in a service log.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And just to also add, just to kind of piggyback of what Tony mentioned, that aside from the service tracker, whatever Tony had mentioned about the city is reviewing all IEPs, they also are reviewing our IEPs for other purposes. So they are looking if we are on time of meeting IEP meetings. Are we on time with providing the triennial meetings? Are our goals connected with the present levels and with the services? So that's another review that is part of our EDS benefits review, which is under STEAM. Yeah.
All right. And then, okay. So, okay. I mean, so I understand why this is happening, but to me, it's like, if it's not, okay, I'm sorry, I'm trying to process this because I understand if it was tied to outcomes, right? If there were districts that had poor outcomes, then you go to this level. But to me, this is taking time away that you could be spending with educating students. So
I definitely want to validate that. That's a concern of ours as well. I do want to commend district leadership and, negotiating with the union to ensure a case management prep is provided for everyone. We did work with the union on this to get data on how much time it took, and it's about an hour a week is what our teachers are telling us.
okay.
Oh, total.
No, that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
And
And
so-
so each case manager, each case manager had at least per their contract, not more than 25. So it can be between 20 to 25 students.
So And my last, or a couple more, it's just, so looking at the early data, have there been, have you seen anything where like, oh, okay, this is off, or there's certain areas where there are off, or it's...
For the most part, we're seeing that the services are provided, and we are also trying to work with SELPA and understanding when it would count as delivered and not, such as with the power outage day. But for example, if a student is absent on the day that they would be served, then we would not consider that service being not delivered because there was an opportunity to deliver the service.
Okay, so this is like problematic in a lot of ways because the other thing is staffing, like, do they take any of those things into consideration, or it's just the service is not provided even if we don't have staff, or?
Well, I think they want to know that so they can, it's about data for them.
Okay.
And not about this district isn't providing enough service. It's we're
data.
Exactly. We're just accountable for providing the data.
Okay. So yeah, everything else to me made a lot of sense and was great. And thank you for breaking everything down. The only thing I would like to see moving forward is just since we are one of the things the CDE checks is the disaggregated data on race and placement. It would just be nice to have that information, but I didn't ask for it ahead of time. But it's always just good to have that on my radar. But other than that, it was everything else here was extremely helpful. I'm really proud of the special education program and the services that you guys all have provided. And I'm also extremely happy to see the growth that we've gone through and the support service that we're able to provide our special education staff. Another prep and all these things, especially now with the constant requirement. They talk about like how come there's a teacher shortage. These are reasons, like it takes it away from teaching. And again, I don't want to take away from the motivation behind it. I understand why they're doing it. I just feel like this is the wrong way to go about ensuring that students receive the services that they need. Like this is creating another problem to solve a problem. So, but thank you for the clarification and information.
Of course. And we'll definitely provide that data. We do have it regarding disproportionality.
Yeah.
So we'll provide that to you this week.
Okay. And also raising the number of students that that's English as their second language.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions?
Really, really great presentation. Thank you so much. I love the way you, because it's a reminder for me as well, just breaking down the terminology and everything. I love how I told us to ignore certain things. That's great. My one little question is, we've been able to bring a lot of students back to the district. How have they fared in adjusting? What have you seen?
Well, in our adult transition program, we had anticipated an increase in numbers and had hired an additional teacher. So we were able to keep the classroom staff to student ratio pretty consistent with what they'd had in their county program. And so it took the program, all agreeing that that was the best way to serve students. So in that sense, I think it was a success in that collaboration between staff, for one teacher to have a class with that ratio, another teacher might have a higher number of students, which is a trade-off that they wanted to make to serve students. So that, I would say, was a success. And I think we saw that most students are well served here, and where we saw maybe that a student had needs where we wanted to reconsider the county placement, we did so. And so it can be fluid, and of course, each IEP team gets to make that decision.
And I also just wanted to add, because we also brought students that we placed in the high school setting at Terranova. And so far, it has been successful. I would like to comment our life skill teachers, our visual instructor teachers at Terranova and Oceana, because we were able to keep those students. Although I would like to thank our executive board, because we have to bring in other paras to support the needs of those students, but we were able to provide all the services that they need. And I know we're running out of time, but just a story from last Friday when we had our Special Olympics. So I saw one parent who we brought her son from a non-public school, and she was so happy to see that her son is really thriving in a comprehensive high school. And I know I wanted to take all the credit, but I couldn't. Of course, I said, the team effort, but it was, just kidding aside, it was nice to see that at least we also hear from our parents that they're thankful that we were able to provide their child with this setting and not be able to have her child stay all the way to non-public school all throughout 22 years old. So.
Yeah, I just want to commend you for your leadership, and Ms. Baca as well. I'm really, like Ms. Alhudin said, I'm really, really proud of our special education program. And also, whenever you've come before us, it's not about increasing our numbers or anything like that. It's always about the student. And we're always admitting accountability. If something we feel that we haven't served the student adequately, you make it a priority for us to be accountable for that. And I really appreciate that, because we know where your heart is, and it's always to serve the students. So thank you.
I have nothing further to add other than just thanking you guys for the presentation. I mean, it's a call task what you guys are trying to do, put together as a team. I mean, it's hard enough, put together a program for, just regular high school students, let alone our special needs students. I have a special needs nephew, so I know how difficult that could be, how challenging it could be just at home. Let alone kind of, teach them. And then different learnings there and all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I think you guys should do it. So, I mean, if my colleagues are happy with what you guys are doing, I'm still kind of fresh here, so that's saying a lot. I know it's coming from them. So, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys are going to be in the future.
Thank you.
Let us know more about it, too. So, see what
Sorry. Thank you for your presentation. I appreciate it. I am interested. Is the California Alternative Pathway to Diploma, is that a new program?
Yes, it is a new initiative that it just came out after this. We've been hearing the buzz like sometime in November at least. So we've been going for trainings, but it's still a little bit unclear for us to see how are we going to move forward, especially on the courses that we need to offer to our students who will qualify for this, because it has a very strict guidelines that it has to be state-aligned courses. And that's when we are still working on with SELPA. And
if I may add, so the requirement would be the 130 minimum state requirement. So they would need 3 years of English, 2 years of math. And what we're looking at right now is the curriculum and the supplemental materials. And so instead of receiving the certificate of completion, there will be some students who will be receiving their high school diploma, meeting the 130 minimum state requirement.
Thanks again. I like Trustee Guy, I was interested in learning more. I appreciate your achievements.
Thank you for the presentation. Pretty excited about the growth in the co-teaching and to see the variety of classes that it's being offered in this coming year. And, me being sort of being a bit of a math nerd, I was just kind of messing around with the numbers. The 1 hour per week, everybody logging in, I mean, that might as well be a full FTE when you annualize it. You know, I mean, we're talking on the low end, probably 60K a year in an unfunded mandate, which is, you know, par for the course in the state of California.
Right. And then to piggyback on that, I mean, we were all in DC. I mean, that was a huge part of the advocacy work, but I'm asking for the 40% of funding that the federal government is supposed to give to social education, and we're like under 10% of that. So, you know, we're the only ones held to the requirements. Everyone else is getting away with not doing what they're supposed to do in order to support us. We need to be students. So that's a huge amount of money that we could use if we were fully funded to that 40%. We would, all of those boxes would be yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the issue with getting all those boxes to yes is because, you know, things don't pay for themselves. I'm going to stop preaching.
And before we go, sorry, I just wanted to also say thank you to Ms. Balsino and Ms. Vanderbilt, because they always, whenever we need additional funding or student services kind of, concern, that we can always collaborate with them. So thank you.
Thanks. So I just wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, thank you for the presentation. But more than that, thank you for your dedication to the work. I sit on the SELPA board, the Special Education Local Plan Area Board, and happened to be there this morning. We were talking about various topics. And I kid you not, practically every time I go there, I am complimented on you too. So, that speaks volumes. And just in this, the 5 years since I've been in this district, the improvement in our special education program, I think, has been quite remarkable. And, HR, recruiting, teachers, and, the executive cabinet, I think we should take the credit for working with AFT. It wasn't a big fight to add FTEs this is a school district where the administrators are saying, I think you guys need more people,
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, and so that's, I think, something that we all should sort of take credit for. I chuckled and sort of, spoke out when you said, Grace, practically constantly we're meeting. I mean, it's really no joke. Corrine and Lee and Grace, I sit in on just a fraction of the meetings that they're in, and it's borderline ridiculous, the amount of oversight that, $60,000, I'm sure if we calculated the amount of time our administrators are sitting in meetings and making plans and creating things, it's ridiculous a little bit. And we have to do it. But I'll circle back and kind of conclude with that. That is one of the main things that we were talking about when we were in Washington, D.C. It really needs to change. It's not to say that these schools do need to do better for our students who need us most. But I will get off my soapbox now. It's not necessarily the way to do it by taking up all of your time, making plans and reporting on plans. That said, thank you very much for your good work.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, thank you all for the kind words and for the constant support. And happy to be here. And we'll see you next year.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, moving on. Item 14A1, the revised 2023-2024 school year calendar. Ms. Lujan. She runs back with her microphone.
Good evening, everyone. Before you this evening is a revised 23-24 school year calendar. What we have done is add, in collaboration with AFT 1481, added an observance day for Lunar New Year, and then we moved one of the professional development days to provide a better balance between the two semesters. And I welcome any questions you may have on this item.
Nope. Thank you so much. I think that's fantastic. I know a lot of school districts are doing this, especially looking at the makeup of our student body. So it's good.
Would you like to make a motion? You got the microphone open?
Yeah, so moved to approve the revised 2023-2024 school year calendar.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
I just wanted to comment really quickly that this idea came from an Oceana student.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of call that out. He really advocated Tyler. Can't conjure up Tyler's last name. But he reached out to me, met with Miss Lujan several times, and really kept advocating. So I just want to say, well done. This is something that came from a student, and the adults kept talking about it. We kept saying, nope, there's no way we can do this. And so credit to the adults as well, but it came from a student.
Very, very cool. It'd be good to highlight that in a board update.
Yeah.
It's already in there. Okay, fantastic. Okay, item 14A2, classified salary schedule update, also Ms. Lujan.
Good evening again. Last meeting, you approved a wonderful new addition in a job description for a registered behavior technician position. We were still trying to finalize where it made sense to place this person or this position, not person. We don't have a person yet. Position on the salary schedule. We have come to an agreement, and so before you is a revised classified salary schedule that places this position on the salary schedule.
If no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. Yeah.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. 14B1 Resolution 2022-2023/18 acknowledging certifications required for Office of Public School Construction applications. Ms. Van Raphorst.
Thank you, President Lee. Good evening, everyone. Before you tonight is a resolution that is required by the Office of Public School Construction in order to apply for specific state bond funds or facilities grants. And so I recommend that the board approve this resolution.
There a motion to approve this resolution. If no questions or comments.
Motion to approve resolution 2022-23/18.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great, motion passes. Item 15, consideration of future agenda items. Do you have anything? Okay. And can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned at 8:52 p.m.
All right.
Yay. Thank you, everybody.